All right, Chapter 7 project, and I just want to highlight there are like 5 supplemental files for this particular project, which again you will find in either the Google Classroom assignment or the College Place High School server. And again, it's helpful to have the instruction file printed out. You can also pull it up on your phone, so you have the instructions next to whatever device you're working on. And again, we're getting into importing data, formatting data. I'm going to confess here. I'm going to do this particular project cold turkey. Um, so bear with me here. I got to get out of this for a second here. But again, this is our last project, and this will help really prepare you for the certification exam. And I just went off the rails here. All right, let's go find our unchecked training, unchecked exams. And I feel like I'm working with dial-up sometimes with my computer here. And by the way, if you choose you want to go farther in Excel than Chapter 7, and you're particularly if you're a student, there is the option to continue working and seeking your expert level certification in Microsoft Excel. There's 4 extra chapters I have you working in, actually 2 extra chapters, and actually a lot of geometrics advanced work. So those are all the I guess you could also download these supplemental files as well. That's a third location. You can actually get them off of um, SAM. There's my start file and my instructions, but again, I always ask you to use my instructions because I might have modified them along the way. So I got to download my start file. And while I'm doing that, it says Elena Dorado is an associate investment banker at Valentine Investments. She is preparing a draft of the workbook that will be presented to shareholders to describe Valentine's asset management team and client relationships. She asked for your help in importing data and adding other content to the workbook. And there you can see my lesson plan, which has nothing to do with anything, right? And we're waiting for my file to open. Thank you so much. All right, there you go. Valentine Investments. Now, this chapter is probably not going to be required or graded, but again, we're getting into, in preparation for the certification exam, we're getting into stuff that may or may not be graded, like practice exams, like geometrics, things like that. But the more practice you do, and the more opportunity you have to see things in different applications, the better you're going to be. Asset management worksheet. Change the formatting of cell D4, and the word art containing the worksheet title Valentine Investments as follows. Apply the turquoise accent color 1 shadow. So I'm going to run my mouse, pointer through that. Okay, drawing tools format tab. All right. And we're going to come over here and it says we're going to apply the turquoise accent color 1 shadow word art style. Let's see here. I'm going to pause. Sometimes I go on little fishing trips and can't quite find what I'm looking for. Turquoise accent color 1 shadow. Okay. And it says copy the formatting of cells. So I did that. There's my word art style. And here I'm just using Format Painter. So I'm going to apply what's in A4. Use my Format Painter. Click on D4. All right. That was number 1. Number 2, the worksheet. Again, oh, by the way, I just violated my own rule again. File save as. Make sure you save your documents folder. Wow. Sloppy. 2 on the end. So we don't forget to do that. Again, the importance of that is if you're traveling around the school, that file will then follow you. If you save it to your C drive, it sits on that computer. Okay, the worksheet should list information about the asset management team, which is contained in a web page. Ooh, fun. All right. Copy data from the web page as follows. Open the web page called the team, that guy right there, in a browser. Let's open it in a browser. Let's see what we get here. Open in the browser. In the Asset Management Worksheet, import the data from the support web page in cell G12. Okay, so here's my data. Let's go back to my worksheet here. cell G12 in the asset management worksheet. All right. And this is kind of convoluted here. It's under your data tab. So data up here. Again, I'm in cell G12, so I'm going to bring this data in from an existing website. And I'm going to say existing connections. I'm going to say, let's go browse for more. And again, this is where you would have saved your supplemental files. Mine's in Chapter 7 project on my C drive here. Support team, that particular HTML or web file. Okay. And it says, well, how do you want to bring that in? I just want to bring in the table and not the title. So I'm going to come over and click on just that table right there. Click import. It says, oh, you want to bring that in to cell G12? Yes, that's where I want to put it. All right. And it says, once you have it imported, I'm going to highlight it, G12 through M19. All right. And it says format it as a table. So I'm going to come up here, which we've done before. I think it was in Chapter 6, right? Insert table. My table has headers. Now, by the way, there's another way to do this, isn't there? And I did this wrong before. I can come over here and say format as table. That's the shortcut way, the better way really to do it. All right. It says I'm formatting it as turquoise table style light 9. Turquoise tile with, let's see, light 5. Where's light 9 at? Turquoise table style light 9. Second row, second item. That's the format that's going to be applied to that particular range. Okay, I'm going to remove all external connections, whatever. Yes, that's fine. You may or may not have gotten that message first time through, but there's our table with that data that we just brought in from our HTML file. That was the number 2. In the imported table, change some data to reflect updates in the company. Delete the row for employee 520 so that Chad Johnson is no longer with Ballantine Investments. Oh, we're going to get rid of Chad. All right. So I'm just going to go down here and select Chad down here. Right click and delete table row. And that little caret, which signifies the bottom of our table, see how it moved up? That little right there, that bottom right hand corner of our table. I just got rid of him, excuse me, in the last row. Change the text financial advisor in place with investments to use a position name the company recently updated. Well, let's just make sure that I just do I guess it's just the position name, right? We're changing financial advisor to, and here's what I should do is I should select all of my data. I realize we only have one person, but if I had like 500 people, I would say, okay, financial advisor, replace that with investments. Place with investments, use a position name the company recently updated. I might say investments advisor, but they just say investments. Okay, whatever. Replace all. It says one replacement was made. Okay, that was number 3. Number 4, Alina wants to list the team information in the range A5 through E10. Let's go back here. All right, the web page table separated the first and last names, but Alina wants to list the full name on the asset management sheet. List the first and last names of each team member in a single cell as follows. So I'm going to come up here to A5, all right, and we're going to use the Concatenate. You know what? I honestly don't know the difference between concatenate and concat. It says join, concatenates a list or range of text strings. Boy, I'm like mumble mouth this morning. Join several text strings into one text string. So we're going to do concatenate. And all we're doing here again is we're just combining text from multiple fields. Okay? And it's saying we're going to add the text that is in cell H13. which is our first name. Okay. Add a space. Now here my second text. It's going to be, I'm just going to hit the space bar. All right. My third text, you see how I popped in quotes around my space? Again, the wizard's doing the work for you. The third text is going to be with the contents in I-13. Okay? So here we're concatenating using a space between my first name field and my last name field. Again, you can see that space up there in quotes. We end up with Jeff Fry. Okay? All right. Fill the range down, so just take that formula, left click and hold, and drag it down, boom bop. Okay, and then we have the first and last name of everybody. Incorporate the imported data in the range B5 as follows. Copy the position data from J13 to J18. Okay. By the way, I've done stuff like this before where you have it in one format and you gotta like format it in another. All right. I'm gonna take that data and paste it in here. And I don't see it, oh, paste only the values, yes. So I'm going to say paste, I want to just say paste formulas, not the formatting. It says paste values. I guess I could paste values. Okay, there we go. In cell C5, using the proper function to capitalize the first letter in each word in the specialty text in K13. So here we're using the proper function, which again means that the first letter of every word in whatever our text is, in this case is our specialty. Instead of lowercase fund administration, now we have capital F, capital A for fund administration. And we're going to autofill that down. So those are properly formatted. In cell D5, use the left function to get the first two characters in cell L13. What does L13 look like? Oh, here they wrote in the word years. Okay. We just want to have the number, so we're going to say left function. And it says select, that's a text, 12 years, but we only want to grab the actual number. Now realize when we grab 8 blank for the first beginning of 8 years, we're going to end up with 8 blank. Or I'm going to say 2. And okay. Comes out as 12. Alright. We could come back later on and actually format those using the values function, which is a whole other deal. We would have an embedded function in that case. We're just going to leave that for now. Alright. Then we're going to go down to E5. And this is number 5, letter E. We're going to use the right function here, right function, and go grab whatever's down there in M13. Except in this case, we're grabbing the state name, which is on the very end of that text. So we're grabbing the last 2 characters starting from the right. So the right function grabs whatever's on the right side of the text and grabs that. Here you can see NY are the 2 characters grabbed from M13. I'm going to autofill that down. Hide rows 12 through 18. This is number 5, letter G. All right. So I'm going to select 12 through 18 with my row selector over here because I want to hide all that data. It's like it's repetitive, but I'm using it to format my asset management team data up above here. So here I'm just going to select those entire rows, 12 through 18, right click and say hide. And here you can see a gap in my number formatting from 11 to 18. That data is still sitting there, but I can't see it. Number 6, Elena already imported data summarizing the performance of the asset management team on the performance summary worksheet. All right. But wants to display the data in the range, oh, here we're still in asset management, sorry. In the range G5 to G8 of the asset management worksheet. She asks you to switch the rows and columns when you insert the data to fit in the range G5 through H8. Okay, so here we go. Again, did we cover this in the practice exam? No, we didn't. So I'm going to select A1 through D2. Once again, this is something that I've used before that is not obscure. This is, again, we're getting into advanced Excel functions. I'm going to copy that. Whoops, let's try that again. Ding, ding, ding. A1 through D2. Control C to copy. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to go over here to paste. And down here at the bottom is paste special. And what I'm doing is I'm using the transpose option, which means my columns are going to be rows and my rows are going to be columns. I'm switching my axis of my data. All right, columns become rows, rows become columns. I have used transposed a lot in my Excel lifetime. All right, click OK, and there's your data. Remember, it started out looking like this. We copied it using transpose to make it look like that. Okay. Alrighty, in the asset management worksheet, insert and format a picture of the asset management team as follows. Okay, let's just do that very thing. It says it's going to cell G19, which I'm going to go to here. Insert and illustrations and pictures. This is number 9, right? And I got to go out to my folder that I'm in that has those supplemental files in it. And it's my support, that's my group. Okay, insert my picture of my team. Hello. It's selected, I guess. There we go. That's better. There's my team. Upper left corner is in cell G19 and the lower right corner is in cell J36. Well, it's a little bit large, isn't it? Let's just kind of scroll down here. All right. Let's get my two-headed arrow. It says J36. I could use the Alt key here to go column width or row height, I should say. I'm just going to drop that into J36. Upper left-hand corner in G19. I think we're good. All right. Picture still selected. All right. And it says add a border. So I'm going to go to picture border. Teal accent 6. Where's that at? I'm going to guess that's teal accent 6. No. Teal accent 6. No. How about the last one? Teal, of course, it's the last one. Teal accent 6 for the border. Coordinate the picture with the rest of the worksheet. Apply the offset center picture effect. So picture effects from the outer section of the shadow gallery. Shadow gallery, outer. We're looking for offset center. Probably be the last one on here, knowing my luck here. Offset center, there we go. For the picture effect. Okay, you may get some questions about pictures in Excel. I'm going to save my work up here, which I should be doing anyway. All right. In cell H37, insert a text box. Okay, wow, insert a text box. Insert text, text box. From the basic shapes section of the shapes gallery. Now wait a second here. Some text box in the basic shapes section of the shapes gallery. I think I'm doing the wrong thing here, don't you? I do. All right. Let's go do this again here. Let's back out of this. Insert illustration shapes. Basic shapes. Someone's have a hard time seeing where stuff's out. Anyway, shapes, and I have the text box is right here. Okay. You know what? I was probably heading in the right direction anyway. All right. This says drop that into H37. We'll see how big that's supposed to be anyway. Enter asset management team at work. Resize the text box to display the entire caption and move the text box so it is centered below the picture in the range G37 to J. Am I making this up as I go along? Yes. J38. So I just stretched it across those columns, G through J, and then it says put it up there so it's inside row 38. Now it says centered below the picture. It didn't ask me to center the text in the text box, did it? That's something I'm not sure about. Resize the text box, and it says move the text box so that it is centered. So the text box is centered below the picture. I'm not sure about the text itself. That was number 8. Number 9, Elena also wants to provide an organizational chart to show the hierarchy of the asset management team. Insert an organizational chart as follows. And we're still on the asset management team worksheet, right? Where are we going to put this? Down in over whatever in A19. Wow, this is quite a worksheet when we're down here. Let's go down to A19. Insert, and let's go over to illustrations. Smart art. Hierarchical. And is this organization chart? That's horizontal organization chart. The hierarchy organizational chart smart art. Hold on here, I'm going to pause. Oh yeah, well that's the first one, isn't it not? That's the guy right there, first one. Organizational chart. Click OK. And wow, that's like all over the place here. Move and resize the smart art so the upper left corner is in cell A19, lower right is in D36. I'm going to close out my text pane there. It says upper left in A19. Now here's where I can use the left arrow key to move, kind of fine line there. A19 through D36. Okay. D36. Bottom right. Whoops, that's a little bit far. D36. How did I do? D36, A19, following directions, put it where they wanted me to on number 9. Number 10, add text to the smart art as follows. Enter Fry in the top shape. Fry. Enter Montgomery. These are like people's last names, obviously. Montgomery. Let's spell that right, why don't we? Montgomery. All right, in the second shape. Add a shape after the Montgomery shape so that it appears to the right of the Montgomery shape. Okie dokie. That would be add shape up here. So we're talking about levels in our organization. So we have like a CEO, and down here is maybe a CFO or a COO, Chief Operations Officer, something like that. So second shape, all right, and this person's going to be Garcia, all right. In the bottom row, add Latimer, and then we're going to put in Gao, pardon me if I butchered that name, and Kraus. Okay, so that's our organizational chart for our little company for asset management. That was number 10. Kind of a long project here, and again, the diagram on the next page shows us what it should look like. Add a caption to identify the smart art as follows, and it says down in B37, down in B37, insert a text box from the basic shapes gallery, which we just did a second ago. Illustration, shapes, and text box. Come down here and just draw a text box temporarily. And what are we putting in there? Org chart. We're getting into some real life stuff here. This is what I actually would see in a worksheet potentially. Resize the text box, display the entire caption, and align the top of the org chart text box with the bottom of the asset management team at work text box in. Okay, now wait a second. It says to align it. align it. Okay, I'm going to click this. Can I select both of those at once? Probably not. So let's just go down here. Resize the text box to display the entire caption and align the top of the org chart text box to the top of the asset management team text box. And I also might want to center this across those columns, right? Don't you think? I should do that. If I miss that one, I'm not going to go back and try to dink around too much with that. All right, number 12, hide the grid lines on the worksheet to increase its visual appearance. So we have these grid lines up here. Okay. Page layout. Let's go up to page layout, page setup, dialog box. Under sheet. And that's not what I was thinking of. That should be actually under sheet options. Oh yeah, we just unchecked view grid lines. Sorry. There we go. So the grid lines go away. I was thinking of printing. Sorry about that. That was number 12. Number 13, Elena wants to include the company slogan and a standard disclaimer about Valentine Investment Services on the asset management worksheet. She has this information stored in a PowerPoint presentation, including information as follows. Use PowerPoint to open the presentation, blah, 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 disclaimer. Okay, disclaimer. Now if I open up this file in my supplemental files, it's going to open up in PowerPoint in just a second. Tell a story, entertainment, whatever. This is truly an integrated project, isn't it? Financial strategies designed for you. So I'm going to highlight that. Go back here to my project. Okay. And it says, where am I putting this? I'm putting this down into, whoops, let's undo that. I didn't want to move that around. Okay. Let's go down to cell B40 down here. Use the screen clipping tool to paste a screenshot of only the slogan and disclaimer into the asset management worksheet. So I need to make sure that the last thing that I was in was my PowerPoint file, slogan and disclaimer. Okay, back to Excel. Again, this is something I've done a lot in Microsoft, a lot. Insert, and I think we're doing illustrations here if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to say screenshot. Remember in the practice exam we did screenshot, which would be all these other files we have open. In this case I'm going to say screen clipping, and when I select screen clipping it's going to take me back to the last worksheet, or the last screen I was in, not worksheet, wherever I was at, which in this case was the PowerPoint file, and things kind of wash out, and I get that crosshair. I'm just going to go through here and drag and select that range. And it drops in my screenshot. Position the upper left corner of the screenshot image to B40, which I think I'm in. Am I not in? Just make sure I am actually in B40 in the upper left. Okay. Which I am. All right. Let's just save that for good purposes here. On to number 14, go to the Client Investment Tracker worksheet. Ooh, awesome. Which Elena asks you to finish.